Hey everyone, welcome to the channel. I'm Allowable with Junk Removal Authority, where we help junk removal business owners make more money and live a better life. Today we're going to be talking about some of the main uses of a CRM system. It is something that you should be using on a daily, weekly, monthly basis. There should be kind of a cadence on how you use this particular piece of software that can actually be one of the greatest tools that you're going to have in your junk removal company. If you guys are interested in any digital marketing services or consulting services, check us out at junkrA.com. We'd love to talk to you and see how we can help you run and grow your junk removal company. All right, so a CRM system, what most people think of when they refer to a CRM system is a scheduling system. And that is what it is at its surface. It might be the most visible part of it. It's the thing that you're going to go to definitely on a daily basis to kind of see what jobs you're doing and when. But it's the reporting functionality that a good CRM system has that is the most value to the business owner. So again, the scheduling thing is number one. You want something where it's very easy for your guys out in the field to grab their phone or a tablet and pull up the schedule. And also, junk removal jobs change a lot every single day. So whatever you start with that day, you might start with 2 jobs for that day. You might end with 6. You might start with 6, you end with 2, or any combination thereof. So schedules have to change on the fly. You know, we first started junk removal or junk doctors in North Carolina, which we built to a $3 million a year business. When we first started that, we would literally print out the job sheets at the start of the day, as well as MapQuest instructions, and then we later got one of those Garmin GPSs. Fairly early on, we got a Garmin GPS that we went around on. But what we found is calls would come in, and you'd wind up having to call the person out in the field, and you'd have to give the information for the next job, or maybe you would text it over or whatever. It wasn't really seamless. Well, when we started using a sophisticated CRM system, it made it very easy to move jobs around on and off people's calendars, to update details on the fly, for our techs to be able to have all the information, just click to call if they want to call the customer, and have an email address and have all that stuff available right then and there. That is the core functionality of a CRM, is that scheduling function. So you've obviously got that part of it. You can invoice clients from it. You're going to have your entire price list. You choose the items that are on there. You explain to the customer, you know, the price range or whatever it's going to be. You can grab a signature from the customer. And then at the end of the job, you can accept payment. Now, most CRM systems now have a integration with a payment provider where you actually can swipe a credit card or insert a credit card or tap a credit card or whatever you do now for your clients on site using your phone or your tablet. The neat thing is once that payment comes in, it automatically gets submitted with your CRM, and then it can sync over into QuickBooks. So that is very seamless getting over into your accounting software. Now, the best part about a good CRM system is the reporting. And as your business grows, as you get more people, you're no longer on the truck anymore and you're managing the operation, it becomes even more important. It's still important when you're small, on the truck. It becomes much more important when you're off the truck to make sure you maintain standards and maintain profitability. So some of the stuff we look at with reporting on a daily basis, well, number one, I'm going into reports, and you can see on our CRM right here, you know, we jump into reports and we're looking at the total number of jobs we had for a particular day or that day. We're looking at the total number of sales that occurred. Those are 2 obvious metrics. The next thing that I love looking at is average job sale. So you take all the jobs you had, you take your revenue, you take the revenue and you divide by the total number of jobs you have. That gives you the average job sale, or AJS. AJS is one of the most important numbers that you have in your junk removal company, because it's the difference between being profitable or not. It's the difference between having extra money available to spend on marketing or not being able to do that marketing because you're losing money because there's not enough revenue to make up and pay for that marketing. We then break down AJS by tech. So we want to know the average job sale for each individual junk removal tech that we have out in the field. Now, the techs are the ones that are actually quoting the jobs. We track those. We don't necessarily track sales for the navigator. We do for the tech. On a daily basis, we're looking at AJS. We're especially looking at it on a weekly and a monthly basis. We actually do a little bit of a competition with our truck crews. Whoever has the highest AJS on a weekly basis, we provide a $50 Visa gift card to. We post that AJS information as well as some other information, sales per payroll hour and a few other metrics on a board in our office. And the entire organization knows exactly where each of our techs stand in terms of closing rate or cancellation percentage, in terms of sales per payroll hour, in terms of average job sale, and a couple other metrics. It's all posted right there in the office. And we meet on it every morning and every week so people know exactly where each other stand. It kind of creates a little bit of a friendly competition. So we take that AJS by tech. Now, you see the AJS by tech, and that is a metric that you use to help train your teams. So if you see there's a particular tech that consistently has a lower AJS over a long period of time and over a similar number of jobs as everybody else, you know, hey, I need to spend a little extra more time with this individual on sales role playing, on teaching them the sales process, on teaching them how to handle objections that occur from customers when you're providing those quotes. If they continue to struggle with it, that might tell you, hey, this individual might not be a great fit for us, so they might not be a great fit at quoting jobs. They're just not that great at it. They might have to stay as a navigator rather than be a team lead. Cancellation rates, junk removal industry average, on-site cancellation should be under 10%. So that's something we look at. Now the neat thing, a good CRM system is also going to show you booking and cancellation rates for your dispatch or your call center reps, your client success managers. So if you notice there's a particular CSM that tends to have a much higher cancellation rate, one of the things you're looking at is a couple different things. One, are they overselling the job? Are they being too good? Are they over-promising? Are they locking down sales? Maybe this person isn't quite ready. Maybe we need to give some more information over or whatever. Are they doing that? I normally don't have an issue with that, but that from time to time that might occur. It's very rare. Generally what happens is maybe they weren't quite as professional, quite as friendly, and made quite a good a connection with the caller for that caller to feel like, hey, I don't want to shop around. Because one thing we know is if we can make a really good connection with that caller, if the sales process is very smooth, if we answer questions like we should, if it's friendly, it lessens the likelihood they're going to continue shopping around looking for another vendor. So that's something we're really looking at, is to understand, all right, what's the cancellation rate for both our techs out in the field as well as our CSMs that are fielding our phone calls through our contact center. One of the other things that we really want to look at that a good CRM system is going to provide is information related to your advertising. So most are going to provide, a good CRMs are going to provide information like this, which shows sales based upon the source, the advertising source. So it could be PPC through Google, could be Bing ads, it might be organic. You could have yard signs, you could have a magazine ad that you put out. It could be a Facebook post that somebody came across, it could be a referral, it could be a repeat customer. There's several different things that it could be. And a good CRM system is going to give you a pretty good idea of where things come from. Now, it could be set up in such a way that it automatically tracks that. So this particular CRM, for those of you that utilize it, can actually bring in the information. It basically has a phone number on a particular landing page for your Google Ads traffic, or you create a phone number for magazine traffic or yard sign traffic or whatever. And it can give you a decently exact idea of where business came from, how many jobs resulted from it, and what was the total amount of revenue generated from it. It's never going to be 100% accurate. The other way is just asking the customer where they heard from you. Now this also is not 100% accurate, but at least gives you a good idea on what sources are working and what sources are not working. Now one thing I will tell you is most advertising sources work together. So if you're doing your job and you're getting yard signs put out and blanketing an area with yard signs consistently for months and months and years at a time, people are going to get to know you. They're going to begin to recognize your brand and think about you. They still might go online and do a little bit of research. So they want to be able to see your Google ad saying, hey, all right, they're right on top of Google. They want to be able to see your Google My Business or Google Business Profile, as it's now called, with some good reviews. They're doing their due diligence. They're saying, hey, this is a good company to work with. They'd love to see your organic listing and say, hey, these guys are everywhere. They got the yard sign out. They got these 3 listings here on Google. This must be a legitimate company that I want to do business with. So a lot of that stuff works together. TV, radio, magazine, all of that stuff kind of just meshes together and just really, really, really works together. So just because something appears to not be converting as well as something else, you have to dig a little bit deeper to determine, hey, do I want to continue doing this particular thing or not? And as you get larger and you have more revenue to spend on advertising, you can do more things that maybe are more branding, more long-term. When you first get started, you need that direct response that only like Google ads and Facebook ads and stuff like that can really present. So when you are managing your PPC campaign, so we're talking about advertising still, how can you use this data the CRM provides to help you understand which kind of moves you need to make on your PPC campaign? So one of the things that you're going to look at is a good CRM is going to tell you what city are the majority of your jobs taking place in. So it'll break down all the individual cities as to how many jobs you had, what was the revenue, and what was the average job sale. Because you're going to have certain cities that have a much lower AJS. You're going to have certain cities that have a much higher cancellation rate. You're going to have certain cities that don't book hardly any jobs. Well, you take that data and then you go within the Google Ads platform and you go into the location. You can actually, right in Google, we can go in there and we can view all the locations that are generating search traffic, and we can see how many conversions they're also leading to. When we look at your CRM data, we can say then which areas have the most revenue, the highest average job sale. Those are probably your more affluent areas, but those are the areas you want to make sure you are concentrating your budget. You're spending as much as you can on those areas. Now, you don't want to look at just a 7-day or 14-day or even a 30-day time frame. This data becomes relevant at minimum 90 days. So don't evaluate this in the first 90 days of you tracking this information or PPC campaigns or whatever, because you could just have an anomaly. You need 90 days to start having a statistical, enough data for it to be for there to be a meaning to the statistics that you're looking at, for a trend. Anything less could just be an anomaly going on, and you don't want to make decisions based on incomplete information. So we take that, we look at the cities, we make bid increases or bid decreases, or we target certain areas or not target certain areas based on the information coming from our Workiz system or our CRM if you're not using Workiz. The other part of it that's super important is acquisition cost. So we have done videos in the past on allowable acquisition cost. It is a number you need to know on any given point. What is my current allowable acquisition cost? All you do there, and we've released a video in the past, we'll put out another one here soon on it. It's pretty simple though. You take what your average job sale is, so that's at the top. And then you go in and you put all of your expenses that it takes you to carry out that one job, you list that out there. So that's going to be your payroll for that particular job, however long it takes you. That's your payroll hours and the amount there. You've got vehicle wear and tear. What you need to do there is go into your profit and loss statement, figure out a percentage of revenue in the past that you've spent on vehicle maintenance, use that same percentage and times it by your average job sale. That's going to give you the amount of vehicle wear and tear. You've got your fuel expense. You're going to have your disposal fees, so your fees at the landfill when you drop stuff off. I take insurance and I do it as a percentage basis as well on insurance. So let's think about this. So we hop in the vehicle, we drive there. I'm kind of just going through the job process in my head here. So we drive all the way there. So that's your fuel, that's your vehicle wear and tear. There's time involved there. So you count windshield time on your payroll hours. The guys get there, they hop out, they go in and they load everything up. That's still payroll hours that you're paying for there. And hopefully they're sweeping up at the end of the job. So we're still doing time. They hop back in the vehicle, they drive some more, They get to the landfill, they dump it off, they pay a tipping fee while they're there, so that's the disposal fees. And all along that, for you to be able to carry the service out, you need your workers' comp insurance, your general liability, a commercial auto policy. You need all of that type of stuff to carry this out, so we bring that in as a terms of percentage. So sit down there, go through your P&L statement, which you should have a good P&L. If you don't have a good P&L, at minimum, just start with the basic expenses that you know you can figure out pretty easily, which is your disposal and your labor and all that stuff, your fuel. And you can kind of estimate a few of the other items, and that gives you an idea. All right, you take your AJS, you take those total expenses, all that added up, that amount in between that AJS and between that expense total, that amount that's left over, that's your allowable acquisition costs. Now in 2023, for you to run Google Ads in almost every area out there, you need to have at least a $120 allowable acquisition cost. In certain areas, you're going to need to have up to, say, $160 to $180 allowable acquisition costs for you to be able to run Google Ads. And it might even be closer to $200 in certain areas right now. We're seeing much higher cost per conversions here recently. We expect it to start coming back down, but you need to be able to play that PPC game. You have to have that allowable acquisition cost to be able to do that. Go through, figure out that number, use your CRM system to track that on a regular basis. And if you see that AJS slipping, you know, hey, if my AJS is slipping such to the point where I'm spending more on advertising on acquiring a customer than I have profit in a job, that's when you have to look over the rest of your company to determine, hey, do I have enough previous clients coming in and referral business and kind of free advertising to continue hitting this ads game as hard as I am? Or do I need to back down my PPC budget to protect my cash flow while I'm working on either getting prices up or just letting time kind of occur where we get out of this weird little small job or no job cycle that's sort of going on. So watch that weekly basis. You need to be looking at the acquisition cost, allowable acquisition cost, and kind of just keeping it on track of your ad spend and kind of the relevance there. And I said once a week, it's probably more like once every 2 weeks to once a month for an established campaign. So allowable acquisition costs, absolutely huge. Absolutely huge. So those are the main functions of a great CRM system as far as how we use them. Now, a lot of them have a lot more features and some of them are very, very relevant, but we are always in reporting. So as you build up a sophisticated junk removal company, you need to have great reports, you need to pay attention to them, and you need to make logical decisions based upon the information that you got. Now, Workiz is our preferred and recommended vendor. We've been working with them for probably 5 years now. They are a very sophisticated system. They're always working on improving. They have a great online booking system. That's the last thing it's one thing I didn't mention is you want to have a really simple online booking system that goes straight to your calendar. Workiz does a great job with that. There are some discounts available if you sign up through JRA. They're a great partner of ours, so make sure you check out a link in the description here. And listen, guys, we're going into March right now. We're in March. March tends to sometimes start off a little slow. By mid-March, it's generally picked up. So if you guys are really looking to expand and have a great spring, summer, fall to get you ready for next year's winter, then you need to have advertising. We talked about the acquisition costs. It's great advertising, bringing in great leads, and you need to go out and you need to execute them at a very high level. Check us out over at JRA. We do provide Google Ads management services, website development. We have some awesome websites going out now as well, guys. So we've got some pretty custom sites going out. They look great. They take great elements of what we know converts, and then we take into account your colors and your brand, and we create great content. They look really, really good. The best stuff we've ever turned out. So great websites, and then we help you rank well organically through search engine optimization. So give us a call over at JRA. Go to junkrA.com. We look forward to working with you if we can, and we'll see you next video. Thanks for watching. I'm Allowable again with Junk Removal Authority, where we help junk removal business owners make more money and live a better life.